Okay, so some of you have noticed the new cap in the videos. This is, I guess you call it an engineer's cap, like a train engineer's cap. I always wanted to try one of these out. I picked it up at a kind of like a swap meet thing in Joshua Tree last week. It has an adjustable thing with Velcro, which will eventually fail. I don't like that this is flaring out, so I'm going to go ahead and put a snap kit here. I'm going to put a snap in this right now, and I might put one on the inside as well. Every once in a while this gets caught in my curly locks on the back of my head. I don't know how that'll feel on the back of my head, but I think it'll be okay. And yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to try one of these, mainly just because it's not so military looking, right? You guys know I've got those caps you see me wear a lot. They're reproduction World War II caps. And the only thing I don't like about them is they're just too military looking. I don't want to be, you know, when you've been in the service in particular and you wear that stuff a lot, people have a weird vibe there. I'm not trying to let everybody know I was in the service. I just wear them because I like the way that they fit my skull. I like the way they look. I like the shorter brim, all of that. I have this vibe, this look. I call it hobo chic. Just this morning, I was leaving the apartment, and my new neighbor who lives next to me, she put a little table and chairs out on this deck, this porch I have out by my back door, and she was commenting on how I was dressed and my leather satchel that I carry around and everything. And again, I don't do it because I want people to recognize it or be like, "Ooh, this guy is cool." I just do it because it's what I like personally. I've done videos talking about this before because it comes up a lot from people. One of the things everybody asks me about all the time is this slot here. These hats don't come with it. All I do is cut a slot in it. That's all I do. I take a razor knife and I just cut that open and stick a pencil in there. Again, because the way I wear my cap is I like to tuck my big giant Dumbo ears up under the cap so I can no longer stick the pencil behind my ear, which I always did when I was younger, when I had more hair. I didn't wear hats all the time. You know, it's funny. The beard allows me to wear a hat. Without the beard, I have a pronounced chin and everything, but I don't have a long chin. Like this is so funny to overanalyze yourself physically. I think we all do it. We just don't talk about it, right? But the distance from my lip to the bottom of my chin is not very long, and so I never liked the way I looked in caps. Ever since I grew a beard, I like the way I look in caps. And again, this is not what anybody else thinks. I don't care what you think. It's what I think. When I look at myself, I got to be okay with it. So that's where I'm at. So I'm going to put this snap in right now and talk to you about a couple things while I'm doing it. Alright, I hope I don't block any of this out with my body while I'm doing this, but I'm going to put a little dot right here to denote where I want this snap to be. Same thing in here. It's arbitrary slightly. There's a hem here, like a fold over, and I want this snap to sit inside that so that the snap will be lower than this outside stitched edge. One of the things I've been wanting to do, by the way, is make these hats. Everybody's been asking. And I'll show you that in a moment, but let's just continue with this for the moment. The bummer with what I just did opening this up was I didn't mark where it was. That's probably about right. Hang on. All right. So this kit comes with a punch, which is not very good, and then all the tools you need to set a snap. So if you've never done this before, you'll see it now. Alright, so first step is the punch, which in this I'm actually going to go off this too. I got to go inside a little bit, but that's alright. To keep in mind, this isn't so important, this step here. doing this again. I'm going to put this back together just so I can mark exactly where, sorry, the hole is going to be. That worked. Probably should be using a piece of scrap wood under here, but I don't care. Alright, let's put the snaps on. That sits over that. I have to place this on this anvil here. Anvil has two sides. One's for one, one's for the other. You figure this out. It's pretty straightforward stuff. I've learned you don't want to overdo that. Now the next one. Well, I need 4 of these. That's okay. So now this next part here, this goes inside here. This goes over the top of that. This is very thick here, so I'm not sure if this is going to work. Now this anvil goes this way, and it goes underneath that. You have to center it right. This is so thick, it's going to be a little bit tough here. It can't be any harder than doing leather. I've put these snaps in a lot of leather already, so. Now you take this one here. Yeah, that might not work. We're so close to that edge. There we go. So now that's snapped on there, and that looks a lot better, and it's not going to flap around anymore. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this inside one now. I'm going to do this one backwards. I'm going to put this part here so it looks better from the rear. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but hang on, I got to find all the little tiny parts. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's going to be very tough to make it work. We're going to try it. Nothing wrong with trying. Yeah, that did not work. So I flared that out. Be able to still reuse that part. Try it one more time. I don't know if this is going to work. It's too much fabric right here. I think I have to force it down more. It's going to be the trick here, if I can do it at all. Force that down at the same time. Now it won't work. Well, so what I'll do is I'll just stick with this one snap out here, and then I'll sew the inside portion. That'll be good for me. Sorry if that wasn't all on camera, but at least that isn't flopping around anymore. And I can now put my hat on. Now, here's the thing I want to talk to you about real quick, because I do want to do this, and I don't know if I'm going to do this myself, if I'm going to sew these up myself, or if I'm going to ask a friend to do it, because I got a good friend, and she started sewing again, and I know other people that sew, and they have machines, and I got my buddy Chad, and he and I have talked about making this stuff, like workwear. He was talking to me about making some workwear before. Another guy, in fact, I even modeled a jacket, which I have here somewhere, a denim jacket for a guy, and he wanted me to help him kind of promote this. I am kind of like the perfect guy to promote workwear when you think about it. Not that I'm all like, but you see it. So hang on, I'm going to show you something. They sell these at a local hardware / lumber yard, and this material is herringbone twill. So it's the same material that you see with the World War II reproduction caps that I wear. Obviously it's a different color. They sell these for 20 bucks. I own a few of them, and you see me wear them before when I'm working on the van, and I always keep a set in the van in case I have to work on the van somewhere, or if I'm going to do something grubby or crawl around underneath a house or something like that. There's a lot of fabric here, and you see what I'm wearing now. I think this would be even cooler, and my thought process is, and for those of you that sew, if you're watching this, you can tell me if I'm thinking this out right, but those World War II caps I wear, I have 4 of them. I have 2 in the Marine Corps, you know, frog skin Pacific camo, and I've got 2 that are Army style in just the OD green. OD is olive drab. The Marine Corps is like this. It has a panel in the front, 8-pointed. The Army has a seam in the front, so I'd rather do the Marine Corps version like this here. What I want to do is I want to disassemble the cap. I have that little thread cutting tool. I have a sewing kit that I've had since I was in grade school. I had to do half a year of home ec and half a year of shop in Paterson, New Jersey, PS 27, from 4th grade to 8th grade. In 8th grade you got to choose whether you want the whole year of shop or a whole year of home ec. And I did the home ec because that's where the girls were and that's where the food was. So, so I could sew, and I had to operate a machine, but it's been that long. I haven't done it in that long. So my thought process was take out my old sewing kit, get that little tool out, cut away all the threads, separate all the parts, and now I have a template for all the parts to make my own cap. And what I could do is I can make this part a little bit larger for the volume, because this cap has way more volume and it's more comfortable to sink down on my skull. All right, so that's my idea, is take one of those, use it as a pattern, use this fabric and knock out a few hats. And then the other thing is where I put the pencil, I want to do a buttonhole stitch there. It's like this here. All right, so that's the thought process. Put a button, maybe do one on each side for lefties. And then if I can get that done, I'll sell them for $500. But maybe I can make them for sale, because people keep asking about it. Where can I get that hat? And I'm like, dude, buy the hat, cut a slot in it. But I think if I do it with this fabric and I promote it a little bit, it could be a thing. So it's not about thinking grandiose like you can make $1 million. You can't. That's not going to happen. I mean, I'm always open to that. But I just want to put it out there for myself. I want to be able to use it myself, and if it's worth it to sell them and make some money. I don't know how you do that in a way where you figure out all your costs and your time and you sell it for enough to make it worth your effort, because these are one-of-a-kind handmade things. You'd only be able to make so many at a time. But I'm curious as to what you think, believe it or not. So on this subject, this one time. So put a little thing in the bottom here underneath and let me know what you think about this idea. And that's it for now. I got to get back to work. My next thing now is I have a ton of work to do on that top with smoothing it out. For those of you not following along, I've been working on this walnut table. It's a pedestal base. I put the butterflies in yesterday, and now I have to make the pedestal base for it. I just posted this morning a picture folder on my personal Facebook page from it's a picture folder from my Mike Z Design Facebook page of a pedestal base I did several years ago, and that's what I'm going to duplicate, but in walnut. So my next step today is to clean all this stuff behind me off that work surface and dig that stuff out, which has been milled. I got to double check it, see if it's still okay. If not, I got to kind of mill it on the joiner planer and then start doing that joinery. There's a lot of joinery involved there to make this thing super stable. So that's it. Hope you dig on the hat idea, and again, let me know what you think about that. Have a good day, be good to one another. I will catch you in the next one.